Hello. We are online. Okay. So wee. Here we go. We're going to California. I want to check this thing. Am I live? Never mind. I probably am. Okay. So, as many people probably already know, the fire alarm is going off. Great. Just a second. This is going to take a while. What is this? Yes. No views. Great. What does this mean? This is my first stream. First stream ever. Why is it doing that? Great. Apparently it's lower than something or other. Weird stuff. Apparently the fire alarm went off again. That's good. As many of you probably already know, Scrubs, the TV show, the awesome TV show from the early 2000s, is getting a reboot this month. So, what I intend to do, as this is a virtual tourist channel, is to virtually tour the Scrubs, the original Scrubs set. Which is a hospital, or rather an abandoned hospital in North Hollywood, California. Los Angeles. So, let's get right into it. Google Maps. And it is down here. Not in the hills. Not in Beverly Hills. But in the valley. North of the hills. Right here. Uh-oh. What happened? The set isn't there anymore. Oh no. Whatever shall we do? Alright, we're gonna go to... They keep changing this thing around so you can't tell where you're going. But anyway, that's not where it is. This right here is where it used to be. I think we're going to go into Street View first because I can't seem to find the satellite archive from this screen. So we'll just have to wing it. Sorry, I forgot to mention. Yeah, they tore down the old hospital and they put up some apartment buildings. And as you can see here, my computer is too damn slow. Sorry about that. Why is it? Okay, this is the hospital building right here. We seem to be on a delay. Now I get it. Okay. So, just a little bit of adjusting here. There we are. Okay. This is my first stream, so I don't really have it all set out. I don't really have a plan set out on how to do this. I'm just gonna take a look at the set from different angles. We're gonna talk about the show a little bit and have some fun. Yeah. This is the hospital set. Now, what the darn it? It keeps doing that. You'll notice at the front there are these covered windows. Right here, right behind this baobab looking tree kind of thing. That, my friends, is actually the cafeteria. And those windows are normally uncovered when they were doing the shots in there, the filming. As you see, they tore it down. But we still have the benefit of Google and its awesome capabilities of resurrecting or reacquiring the history. Yeah, so see, these are 3 sets of windows with 3 panes each, and that corresponds to the cafeteria in the TV show. So, it's the first floor, obviously. Okay, basically what they used for filming is the first 2 floors and the top floor, the 4th floor. Apparently they did do some minor filming in the 3rd floor, but mostly that was reserved for the writers. It was the writers' room, writers' rooms, as they stayed on the property, which I think was incredibly smart. Because you don't want to have to wait for all of your writers to show up over time from all of the sprawling places. Like the LA is huge, so all of the writers are going to be like all over the place in the city, and you don't want them all don't want to wait till 2 o'clock in the afternoon until you can finally start writing because everybody shows up. So they put them all in the 3rd floor, and it was very smart. And as they filmed the show, they wrote the show. You can see all the air conditioners in there because the building didn't have its own air conditioning system anymore. As many of the podcasts from Zach and Donald would attest to, that they had to have this huge tube thing that came out of an air conditioning, external air conditioning unit thing that they had outside. So they put this giant white tube thing each time they needed to use. Here we go again. Each time they needed to use part of the set for filming, they couldn't have everybody sweating while they're filming, so they put this huge tube in, and that cooled it down, sort of. But as you can imagine, if you have like 10 writers in the building, they're not gonna feel too good. Like on a 24-hour basis, they're not gonna feel too good there. So they have to have their own air conditioning. So they put those in the windows there. Notice the absence of air conditioning units on the, well, except for the top floor and the 2 bottom floors. Probably because it would be very loud while filming to have all these air conditioners on the filming floors. Let me check. It's my first stream, so I don't know if this is actually getting through, and they're doing a pretty poor job of reassuring me that it is. Anyway, let me talk about Scrubs for a minute, because not a lot has been talked about this by the various podcasters and in interviews and things. But what was, I think, one of the very big keys to success of Scrubs is the fact that they did this in a real hospital that had all of the real like hospital fixtures and the bedding, the beds, and all of the various machinery or medical devices, and it looked like a real hospital. And when they had consultants, like medical consultants who came on the set, they felt right at home because it looks just like a regular hospital. I think what that did was it made the cast acutely aware of, you know, what it's like being in a hospital, and that led them to think about it and to research. And I'm sure that they researched themselves, like when they saw a machine. Eventually, they were like, "Oh, what does that thing do? I'll look it up." Right? So, if you have this like collective group of humanity focused on what a hospital is like, then you start to build a reality into the show that you wouldn't get from just a regular set. Like you would see how people would get around in the hospital, and this, like basically the minutia of it would come into play to make it more real in the actor's mind, and then therefore more real in our mind, and in the writers and the producers. It really just built this incredible mental construct as to how to portray this as real as possible. And I love that. Sorry. I really don't think that this show would have done as well as it did without it being set in a real hospital. I think that was a brilliant idea on the part of the producers, and especially like Bill Lawrence, to make it real. To make it real to the cast, and to make it real to us. If that's your starting point, then you're already halfway to making a realistic portrayal, because it is like the scene itself is real. Okay. So, I'm not sure that came across the way I wanted it to come across. It didn't sound like the all-encompassing statement that I wanted to make, but I think you get where I'm coming from. And I'll probably circle around to that logic eventually, and more of these videos. I'm sorry, you've been staring at the same thing for so long. I'm looking at the OBS and all the things, trying to make sure that everything's going well, and and in the process it's not going as well as it could be, but I'll get there. I'll figure it out. Okay. Side view. There aren't very many windows on the side of this thing, which is odd for a hospital, but... And then again, North Hollywood is a pretty odd place. And on that subject, yeah, it really doesn't look like California at all. It looks like... North Hollywood looks, aside from the odd palm tree, looks very similar to most of North America when you're watching it on TV. Of course, I bet it's probably like very dry and warm if you're actually there, but what it looks like aside from the odd palm tree, I mean, it looks like America. Which is good for a TV show. You want the characters to... Well, you want to see characters that remind you of yourself. And I think they did that very well. Why is that? I really don't like the way Google is sometimes. It gets kind of annoying. At the top of the building, there is the giant elevator access room. What's interesting about the elevators is that they, at the time, just before they started filming, they replaced the elevators with like state-of-the-art, completely controllable, programmable technology. technology. Like you could do, like I'm making it making it sound a lot more interesting than it is. Obviously, it's just an elevator, but you can see in the scenes that they timed everything perfectly with those windows and with those elevators, and in fact they actually used that feature to make the hospital look larger, because in various scenes they had the elevator doors wide open and you can look across through them without necessarily recognizing that it's an elevator. So you can make the building look a lot bigger by having different angles, like through the elevator doors. You see the other hallway on the other side, and I think that was, like, Bill Lawrence is brilliant person. Like he's on it, like totally in every way. Like, if you can make the hospital look bigger, then if there was any way to do it, Bill would find it, and he did. Bill Lawrence is a very interesting character. He very much acts like a typical jock when you're around him. He's quite, I don't know, visceral is what I'm looking for, maybe. But behind that exterior is a very intelligent person. I would not want to play chess against him. He just seems to know what he's doing. Well, except for the his ex account handle is well, he's Van Dusen is his mother's name, or no, father's name. I don't know, but his his ex handle is VG, like V Juicer, but it looks like VD Oozer because there's no space in there. So it's really unfortunate. or maybe he likes it that way and thought it was funny. Personally, I would have added a underscore there if it was me, but it is kind of funny. Maybe that's what he wanted. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so this is like the first pass video, I guess. I wanted to try it first. Try to work out all the kinks before I get to a real video, and I'm sorry if that sounds patronizing. I didn't mean it that way. It's just how it goes when you're starting out on something like this. Nobody really here. Get rid of that. No views. I wonder how you get views. Alright, let's see if we can figure out a way to see this building in some other way. Well, actually, first we should go to the other side of the street view, because there's something interesting over there. Hopefully it's still there. Actually, let's look at the entire thing first, and I'll get to what I mean by entire. See, it keeps jumping ahead in time. I don't know why. Because there obviously is a view from 2007 all the way along here. Right, what most people don't know is that the hospital isn't just the tower. In real life, the hospital that used to be an operational hospital actually ends at this line over here, as most of it is a one-story building. So this right here is part of the hospital complex, as well as this parking lot here, that space here, which in one of these scenes actually was designed to be a convenience store that JD's poor scooter Sasha got shot up at, unfortunately. Luckily they had two other of the same scooter that enabled the show to keep going on even after the scooter got roughed up, the bullet things, and the Ring of Fire incident, which was awesome too. Here we're and I'm probably jotting all over the place here. Apparently, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. Sorry about that. I don't particularly know how to configure all of this yet. I just downloaded the OBS thing today. I had some help from Croc to figure out some of these things, but I'm sure I'll figure out more of it later. Alright, let's go back to the screen. Alright. The first floor part of the complex that isn't part of the hospital tower is kind of a meandering snake-like kind of thing that it starts here and moves all the way back to the like the drive-in part of the hospital. Like the long stretch from the tower to the back road there. And it goes like back behind all of these, like these two buildings here, and kind of snakes around and then snakes back here and then back up again near the hospital tower. Looks like kind of like a big S shape kind of thing. Kind of like a elementary school. Like there's like the main big hallway and building and we're back. Sorry about that. Older technology. I don't have any money, so I can't say more, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Trying to make a living. And which I think is why it's important to, and I hate that I'm going to be saying this, but to support the stream. Perhaps by liking and subscribing. If you're an impoverished person like myself, then that's awesome. It's a free way to support. If you're not impoverished, perhaps, I think there's some sort of thing where you can donate in the comments section. I don't have enough subscribers for the super chats yet. I don't know. Just a second. Oops. Maybe that'll work. Hi guys. I'm sorry I sound boring today, but my voice isn't working that well, and I trying to conserve it to make sure it doesn't get worse. Yeah, this is pretty boring, right? So let's take a look. Why is that? Sorry, things are not going well today for this stream. Alright, there's the western end of the hospital. That's the third floor we don't use, but there's the fourth right there. And in this corner here is where the surgical sets are. I think that's the trauma / observation room up to here, and then there's a sink room that has a window into the surgical room, which is about there. Obviously, they meant in the show for it to seem like there were many surgical rooms, which I think they did very well with the one room that they actually had. As I said, they looked for different angles and put different things in the rooms, and just light it differently, and they do some colorization and post-production to make it look like there are many different surgical rooms, and they did rather brilliantly. The observation room is actually one of the rooms that they use, that they also use for like walk-ins and urgent care patients. Like, they didn't show the surgical part of the room for those. When Carla's friend needed help from Elliot to care for her son that got into, I guess, roughed up in some sort of gang thing. And so they put him in that room when Turk was tending to him. Well, Turk was trying to act all tough and showing this guy his scars, and he said he slammed it in a door, apparently, to get one of the scars on his arm or something. And the kid was like, "Yeah, you're hardcore, man." And Turk just goes right over Turk's head. He's like, "Yep." Gotta love that dude. Yeah, so that section there is the surgical room. Behind that, on the other side, is the doctor's lounge. We don't really have a street view look for the other side of the building, so you have to rely on... Oh. You have to rely... Let's just make sure that's still going. You have to rely on the shots from the series to see what the other side of the building looks like, for the most part. Let me try something else here. Just gonna take a second, I think. hope I have it downloaded. Come on, it's gotta be on here. Sworn I downloaded it. I'm looking for Google Earth. Must be in my other computer. Alright, hey everybody, there's Trooper. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. Still loading. Really just the bit rate or something on there. It's not. That isn't helpful. Alright. Projects, come on. I don't want to see data layers right now. I'm doing something. Go back in again. Here it is. Takes a lot more loading because it's Google Earth instead of Google Maps, so there's a lot more stuff in it, which is mostly why we're using it. There it is. Just get enough resolution to see a couple of landmarks so I know where I am. Now I can show you what I mean by the meandering shape of the hospital. Let's go back to 2009. Okay. There's the hospital right there. There's the tower. Okay. There's the tower. Here's the S shape kind of part of the building. So the hallway runs inside these buildings here, there, runs across here, down again, over here, and one part of it goes up to what used to be the emergency center right here. And the other one comes into a hallway that's right around the corner from the pharmacy. Hey. Okay. I'm going to show you a couple of things that I learned. I did a lot of research on this for like 10 years. I was obsessed with this show. I did a lot of research. I listened to most of the podcast. Now, when Zach and Donald were talking about where their apartment was in the hospital, they said it was on the first floor. I thought that it was in the tower area. But I have since learned, mostly through the help of like the cast did a couple of videos, and Robert Macchio did kind of a walkthrough. And so what I learned is this area here, this building here, is what they called the stage, and they put the bar in there for most of the first half of the show, and then later on they put Elliot's apartment and JD's new apartment in there, replacing the bar, I think. Anyway, yeah, that's the stage. So that's where they did most of their like custom builds for scenes. Like they did the convenience store, obviously, and they did so many of them. I can't remember right now. All of them. Okay, getting back to where JD and Turk's apartment is not actually in the tower building. It is over here in what used to be called the Education Center for the hospital. So I guess they had like diabetes education seminars and stuff in here, this building right here. And we know that that's true because back here is the loading dock. So they always, Zach and Donald were complaining about always hearing the loading dock go on because it's right next to their fake apartment. So it's across the hall, there's the loading dock there. And in front of that, that's where they put the big sand pile when Ted flew off his bike and landed next to the janitor, who just happened to be sitting there in his lawn chair or something. And then he said, now we got leverage against Dr. Kelso. Behind there, the loading dock is there, and they kept a couple of trucks here sometimes. Oh, back here is where they did the there's like printery for signage and things like that. Yeah, we gotta take a moment here to appreciate the work of Cabot McMullen, who was the production designer. Man, that guy had that thing running like a German train station. Like the whole hospital was all like everything was all tricked out and made to look like perfect. Like that guy had everything working right. It's going to be like pretty big shoes to fill because Cabot's not doing the new reboot. At least not yet. It's another guy. From what I've seen, the new guy is actually pretty good too. From the stills of the new hospital setting, like everything's like very, very detailed, down to fine details. From what I gather, it's not actually in a hospital, which kind of makes me nervous, because as I said, like half of the work into making the original series was like the hospital setting itself. No, they're not in a hospital. They're going to have to work that much harder to make it look like one. But the new guy is seems to be very, very confident. Pretty sure Cabot's working on the shrinking and that soccer show. I don't even know what that is anymore. Yeah, so apparently they're also filming the new one up in Canada. That's good. A lot cheaper up there in Vancouver. Seems like some kind of a delay in the video. Why is the bitrate so high? I can't believe I'm getting that kind of bitrate on this thing. It's just a cable line. And usually that tops out as like 600 kbps. Oh, and now back to the show. Okay, this part right here used to be the emergency department. The stage here used to be the urgent care center. What a lot of people don't know is that this hospital actually had two morgues. One was in the basement of the tower, right here, and then another one was in the basement of, I think these were like doctors' private offices. And in the basement of that building is the other morgue, which I believe is larger than the tower. Okay. They had post-production was actually took over these doctors' offices here. So all of the editing and all of the audio replacement, like the they call it Foley. They also have like audio dubbing for when they couldn't get somebody's voice properly. The person had to go back in and redo it, so they would go to the VFX or VFX in here, and they would redo the audio section. I'm not sure what was in here, but up here in this part of the building this was all the writers' room area. Like the writers' room is like right here, where this window comes out, and yeah, that's where they would do. Like, and they have the air conditioning there, obviously. Just to. Sorry. I think that's also where they had the fake board meeting room. So like the writers would clear out, and then Cabot would redo like the room to make it look the board room, and that's where like all the legal stuff went down. No, fake legal. It wasn't really legal stuff. It was. Somewhere in here was I think somewhere in here was the kids wash. Did that just stop connecting? Somewhere in here was the kids' washroom where Dr. Cox went to hide from Turk, and Turk found him anyway. Oh. So, I think pretty much what sums this show up, apart from the medical stuff, is it's like the world's best buddy movie, but it's between a black Homer Simpson and a more nerdy Dennis Finch from Just Shoot Me. So Turk is, man, so much like Homer Simpson. It's not even funny. Like all the short screening. This is the best scream ever. See, my voice is shot. I can't do it right now. I could do it before, but and anyway, the part where Turk comes into the restroom, well, Cox is in there, and he looks at him, and he just walks backwards, looking very awkward. It's just like Homer Simpson back into the hedge. But I love it. I love that show, man. I'm gonna stop right here because I don't think the encoding is going too well. It's been an hour, and I want to make sure, I can't see anything from here. I can't tell whether the video is going well or not because I'm in OBS, and here is the loading dock. also I was, Zach and Donald were complaining when I was hearing the loading dock on because
Yeah, I'm hearing myself
their shake compartment.
Anyway, I think that'll do it for now. I just wanted to test this thing out, see if I could do it, and yeah, I'll probably redo most of this later. Just make it it's not a very good video to watch right now. So, anyway, thanks for listening to me blather on for an hour, and I'll keep talking about this. Like I'm gonna do a bunch of these videos to get more into this. Yeah. Okay, if you like this, go ahead and like and maybe subscribe if you are so inclined. I don't really like people like trying to force me to do that, so I understand that you don't have to, and it's fine. Yeah, so thanks for listening, and keep it real, guys. Yes.